And I'm back here on Most Valuable Podcast. We're doing season predictions. This is the last one I am doing. It might not come out in this order, but I really don't care. Ricky, Dave, and I are starving, and this is why I'm doing the Seahawks one. Ricky was like, hey, I'll take it, but I'm like, no, I'm not moving. Let's just get this done and over with. Sorry, Seahawks fans, if you want an in-depth perspective, I will give you my best shot. So week one, you guys just did trade for Sheldon Richardson and got rid of Jermaine Kearse. So week one, that might play to your benefit as you guys are taking on the Packers. You're going to need to pressure Aaron Rodgers. You're going to need to pressure him so he's not able to get it to Cobb, Nelson, Devontae Adams, Martellus Bennett. You cannot let him have that time. Ty Montgomery as well out of the backfield. You cannot give him that time. And getting a guy like Sheldon Richardson is definitely going to help you in week one. But that game is in Lambeau. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers will be able to do more offensively than Russell Wilson. So I will take the Pack in week one. Week two, you're taking on the 49ers. And that's pretty much like taking on a college team. I mean, this is going to be a murder in Seattle. So I will take the Seahawks in week two. Week three, you're taking on the Titans. Titans have a very good offense. You look at their weapons from in the receiving core, Matthews, Corey Davis. Those guys are fantastic. Also Eric Decker as well. I keep forgetting they brought him over. You also look at Derrick Henry, DeMarco Murray, Marcus Mariota, even their tight end, Delaney Walker. That's a lot of weapons to deal with. However, I feel like this Seahawks defense will be able to bring the pressure. I think Russell Wilson will be able to use his speed and agility to at least move the ball down the field offensively for the Seahawks. I know this offensive line is a little bit of a worry for the Seahawks. It was the weakest part last year of this team. I feel like that's going to be a little bit worry when you play teams that can really bring the pressure. However, I do not see that in Tennessee, and I think the Seahawks are going to get the win in week three. Week four, you're taking on the Colts. I do not know if Andrew Luck's going to play. We do not really know the health status of Andrew Luck. When's he going to come back? But even if Andrew Luck is there, it's in Seattle. And when his defense is able to hold the opponents to under, I think it's 20 points per game. He's 20 points in a game. He's 17-0. But I feel like this defense of the Colts will not be able to hold the Seahawks offense back below that threshold. And I think the Seahawks will get the win in CenturyLink. Week five, you're taking on the Rams. It's been a trap game for the Seahawks. I think two straight they've lost. At least once to the Rams. However, I don't think that's going to play up to this time. I know the Rams do have a good defense. You're hoping to see progression from Goff and Gurley, but I think the Seahawks are going to smarten up in week five and get the win here. Week six, you got your bye. Week seven, you're taking on the Giants in the Meadowland, but you're fresh off a bye. I feel like you're going to be able to bring the pressure on Eli Manning. You're going to force the turnovers that is accustomed to Eli Manning. Get the ball into your favor, and I'm not too afraid of that Giants defense. I think that Russell Wilson will be able to do enough to get you over the hump of the Giants. Week eight, you are going back to CenturyLink. However, you are taking a fresh Texans team on, and it's a Texans team with a crazy defensive line. J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney. These guys are going to be able to pressure Russell Westbrook, and if he does not have a healthy offensive line or offensive line that is sufficient, you guys are going to get eaten alive by Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt. I will give the Texans the win in week eight. Week nine, you're taking on the Redskins. I feel like you're going to be able to bring that pressure to Kirk Cousins, and I feel like defensively, the Redskins do not have a lot and enough to stop this Seahawks offense, and I will take the Seahawks getting a win in week nine. Week 10, I'm not a big fan of the Cardinals. However, in Arizona, and it was a close game last year in Arizona, Arizona ended up getting the win. That was a game where they kept, Catanzaro and Hauschka kept missing kicks back and forth. Super weird game. I feel like you're going to get a super weird game as well. Usually the NFC West really plays each other tightly. I feel like the Cardinals will at least be able to squeak out one win against the Seahawks this year. I think that's going to come in week 10. On week 11, you're taking on the Falcons. It's going to be a big game, obviously, in CenturyLink. You're taking on your old DC in Dan Quinn. Coming off a loss against the Cardinals, I think Pete Carroll is going to get these guys fired up. I think the speed of the Falcons' defense is definitely going to give some problems to this offensive line, but I think you're going to be able to slow the ball down with Eddie Lacy, and then also Thomas Rawls. I think you're going to be able to get a nice mixture against this Falcons defense and get a win over the Falcons in Week 11. Week 12, like I said, you're taking on the couch team of the NFC West. You're going to get a win over the 49ers. Week 13, you're taking on the Carson Wentz-led Eagles. Eagles are a good team. They could give you trouble, but this one is in CenturyLink. I will take the home field advantage, and I will take the Seahawks in 13. Week 14, you're taking on Blake Bortles, maybe even Colin Kaepernick. We'll see who you start in Week 14, or Chad Henne. I think it's a complete mess there in Jacksonville when it comes to the quarterback position. I think that's going to play into the favor of the Seattle Seahawks, and the Seahawks will get the win in Week 14. Week 15, you're taking on the Rams. That one's going to be an easy win for you guys. You're taking on the Rams, and this one's going to be late in the season where you guys usually shore up your losses against the Rams. This is usually when you guys beat up on the Rams. I think you're going to get a win there against the Rams in Week 15. Week 16, you're taking on the Cowboys. This is definitely going to be a game that you guys can lose. However, we've been getting called out for having teams go 12-4. So the Seahawks are getting the win here, so they do not go 12-4. Week 17 to take on the Cardinals, revenge game in Week 17. Seahawks get the win and finish 13-3, 5-1 in the division, and 10-2 in the conference. Some people might think that's a little bit lofty, but the Seahawks are a good team, balanced offensively and defensively. Obviously, the biggest weakness is that offensive line, but we'll see how they can do. I think Pete Carroll and the boys will be bounce back from their somewhat down year last year. They had a slow start out of the gate, but I will take the Seahawks going 13-3. Tell me what you think of the Seahawks schedule down in the comments below. You think they're going to go 13-3? Think I'm overrating them a little bit? You think they're going to go around 11-5, 12-4, 10-6? Tell me what you think down in the comments below. But I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. We revamped that whole system over there.